Welcome back to Onsite Public Media's No Cap Recap, where we tell you what happened.
And we don't do no capping. I am Serious Marie.
And I'm Brandon Lee, and thank you for joining us today. Sorry for our little week off. You know, some people think we get like paid time off or something.
Oh my God.
So, you know, but we're back. We're all back together, and we're good to go.
Already, y'all, happy belated Valentine's Day. You know, we love black love.
Gotta celebrate it. Other love is cool. All love.
Yeah.
Love is love. Appreciate y'all.
To my
Do your
kings,
thing.
queens, and in-betweens. We love you all.
Go ahead.
Do your thing.
First, Donald Trump under the impeachment trial. You know, there's been a lot of headlines, a lot of things that have been going on since the insurrection on January 6th. You know, there's been some key points or key members that played a role in the insurrection who now have to be on the jury to see if Donald Trump caused the insurrection. So it's an interesting ordeal. For example, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, the one who gave a power fist to the insurrectionists on January 6th before they stormed the Capitol. This week in the impeachment hearing, he was, you know what he was doing?
Tim, tell the people.
He was big chilling during the impeachment trial. He was reported to have his feet raised on the chair in front of him in the hearing.
The caucasity of this man.
The big chilling. It feels like the type of energy where, you know, you're like, well, my dad's a lawyer. Like that type of thing. Like, he can do whatever he wants and he'll get away with it. I think we all know a couple little white boys like that. But hey, you heard about Matt Gaetz? So your boy Matt Gaetz, on January 6th, after all of the rioters were left out of the Capitol, he said that, who do you think he blamed it on? Antifa. That day, he said that it was Antifa that infiltrated the MAGA crowd and were the ones that first...
Despite all of the Trump hats, all the Trump paraphernalia, all the linked people who you could see were there. I mean...
So Matt Gaetz said that it was Antifa with no credible resources, no credible sources. He just said it.
And then it couldn't have been Antifa. It couldn't have been, because if Antifa was there would have been marshals, there would have been water, there would have been sound vans,
snacks.
It wasn't none of that.
Face
it wasn't
masks,
none of it. I mean, come on now.
You wouldn't be able to find anybody's identity because they would have masks on. But Donald Trump, you got a MAGA hat, and that apparently protects you from the coronavirus.
Super spreader event.
But no, so Matt Gaetz said that it was Antifa on January 6th. And then just the other day, Michael Vanderveer, one of Trump's attorneys, said very boldly, one of the first people arrested was the leader of Antifa.
Despite Antifa being a decentralized movement, there is no leader.
The leader of Antifa.
Right.
Who we think he may have been referring to was a man by the name of John Sullivan, who was at one point seen at Black Lives Matter protests, but he was disavowed by BLM for being a known instigator. That's all he wants to do is cause trouble. Apparently, to Trump's attorneys, this is the leader of Antifa.
Right, somebody that was disavowed from freaking BLM. That makes all the sense in the world.
And so yeah, the FBI literally came out a month ago. There were articles again yesterday that said there has not been any positive ties connecting any of the people arrested from the insurrection to Antifa. So bold-faced lying, it seems like Donald was good at it. It seems like his attorneys are good at it. It seems like a lot of the GOP is good at it. So I guess we'll see how that goes from here.
So Tom Brady won his 7th sports ball championship for a sport with a ball. Quarterback, right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Super Bowl is what you're looking for.
Okay, yeah, the Super Bowl with that. So people can apparently forget his politics because he was photographed in an interview with a MAGA hat, but Colin Kaepernick isn't allowed to kneel during the national anthem. And now he doesn't have a job, and Tom Brady has 7 championships. I mean, we could talk about, you know, the disparity in football and the racism in football and the fact that even black players being allowed to be quarterbacks on teams is like a big thing. Like I said, Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job anymore for kneeling, and Tom Brady's allowed to wear his hat. A lot of people thought that he was the first person to get 5 championships, but he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
It was a black man whose name is Charles Haley. He was the first with 5 rings, and he was also inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then Tom Brady surpassed him, which is
good for Tom Brady.
whatever. It is what it is.
Some people care. Some people have now tried to make the argument that he's the greatest athlete of all time.
Let's not even talk about Serena Williams, who has 23 championships.
Thank you. She
Damn
won
near back-to-back.
when she was pregnant. She was pregnant.
She was pregnant. She was carrying
Have
life.
you watched the film of Tom Brady's 40-yard dash in the combine and tell me he's the best athlete of all time? Now tell me, did that look like the best athlete in the world to you of all time?
Come on now. Serena been dominating since she was like 15. Let's not even play that game. Black women are superior. Stop, Tom. Stop.
And then, so also, not only yes did Tom Brady win, but there were some commercials that happened during the Super Bowl. This Super Bowl, out of all Super Bowls, they wanted to talk a lot about systemic racism. They had a commercial entitled Inspire Change, if you want to go look it up on YouTube. At the end, the last slide was the NFL is committing $250 million to help end systemic racism. I think a couple slides before that, they showed 3 football players kneeling during what appeared to be the national anthem. And guess who wasn't in the video at all?
Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick.
What a surprise! Bro, talk about pandering. Talk about pandering.
You're going to put money towards ending systemic racism, but the person who brought that protest to your league, to your job, to your workplace
has no recognition.
You gonna act like that never happened.
Like,
see, and I had this conversation with a lot of MAGA people that I know. They say Donald Trump has done so much. He's giving you guys so much money, blah, 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 for the black community. And my response to that is, you can call me a and still give me money. I'd rather you not call me a Keep
you
your
can
money.
have a black boyfriend and black kids and still be racist. Because Massa was whipping his slaves and they were still his slaves. He was raping them and they were still his slaves. It don't mean shit. If you're not doing the work, it doesn't really matter. And to be like, oh, we're gonna be so vague and say we're giving money back to the black community.
Keep your money. I want the respect.
What money? Where? Where is it going?
But also in that same commercial, they used a little portion of LaDainian Tomlinson's speech. If you don't know, he was a running back, popularized on the San Diego Chargers back whenever. So his Hall of Fame speech, he goes talking about we all play for Team America. We're here together for our American values. We're all on the same team. Let's put our differences aside. But I remember back when that speech first came out, one of my friends told me about it, like, did you see it? And I was like, no. So I went back and watched it. In that speech, may have been a little bit of activity. So he talks about his great-great-great-grandfather, George Tomlinson, who Tomlinson is his slave master's name. And he goes on to what he tried to do was thank his great-great-grandfather for coming from nothing and creating something. But he almost thanked Massa Tomlinson in the same sentence. He went on to say the land that my great-grandfather was a slave on, it's now called Tomlinson Hill, as if he went back and named it still the slave master's last name. What was it named before that?
Like, it's giving me very much Candace Owens vibes. Like, yes, slavery happened, but we should be grateful that we're here today because of slavery. Like,
you know, actually,
no.
when Vice President Kamala, when she was given the nomination to be the VP, there were conservatives who said, if you trace Kamala's lineage, she has, her father's Jamaican. His grandfather or something like that, sorry if I'm wrong here, was a slave master, right? And they tried to say...
And he was black?
No, it was white.
Oh, okay.
So there was rape that happened between the master and the slave, and that's Kamala's lineage, right? Conservatives tried to say that there are ancestors in Kamala's lineage that benefited from slavery, and therefore she has not had negative implications from slavery. My father is a Jamaican immigrant. My last name is a Scottish last name. Right? Because people from Scotland came and owned slaves in Jamaica. Does that make me
that does not negate all of the racism?
The proud ancestor of a slave owner?
Like, no, that doesn't negate everything that you've gone through or every bit of turmoil that you face. Just because you have a ancestor that own slaves, that doesn't negate everything that you go through as somebody that's black.
And that's acting like that was a consensual thing. No, master raped a slave and had black babies that were slaves. It's not like they were like, okay, well, you're one of us now. No, you're still black. Sorry. You out in the fields. So that kind of poses the question for me, at least. At what point is reclaiming your name, or can you reclaim a name that was given to you? Is that show a sense of pride in how far you've come? I feel like that's a valid statement, but at the same time, a lot of people criticized LaDainian Tomlinson in his speech saying, yes, that's what you're trying to do, but Massa would still consider you as his slave, his property. And for you to put that brand on everything you do, he's proud. He's still living on his legacy, which a lot of people say, if you have the money to go back and trace your lineage, why not find what your name was before your people were enslaved? And why not try to promote that name? So what are your thoughts on when it comes to that type of issue? Is it reclaiming? Can you reclaim it? Should you rebrand it? What do you think? Let us know. Drop a comment. Message us onsidepublicmedia@gmail.com. Let us know what you think.
Speaking of racial identity, let's talk about Rachel Dolezal. Or as she would like to be called, Nkechi Amadi Diallo.
A Nigerian name. If you don't know who you're talking about, look at the picture of this white woman here.
If you're not familiar with who she is a white woman who decided that for the progressiveness of her own career, to profit off of pretending to be black and claiming to be transracial when she got called out for it. She lied to people to tell people that her dad was black, and she pretended, like I said, to be black. She wore wigs, she got tanned, and spoke in AAVE, which is African American Vernacular English, to become the president of the NAACP chapter in her town, and also a professor of black studies at a college.
So after it was discovered that she was actually a white woman, she has basically been outcasted. And the recent headline, she did an interview with, I believe, the New York Post, that she hasn't gotten a job in the past 6 years.
Clap it up for the employers. Because Jesus Christ, you don't deserve a job. After profiting off of black people and being black and black culture for so long, you don't deserve it.
And people say on Twitter, if she wanted the full black experience, well, guess what? Now you can't get employed. No one wants to hire your black
Yo, fake black
Yo, fake black tan, fake curl.
Like,
you look dusty.
Okay, you put on a motherfucking 4C and you think that you that bitch. No. Cut it. Stop it. We're not doing it. You have the cap of the week with them ratchet wigs.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, cap of the week. Congratulations, Rachel Nkechi. I apologize. Congratulations. Oh, and if you want, you can go ahead. She says that she is misunderstood. You can actually get a better understanding of her life story if you read her book titled In Full Color.
Like, it speaks for itself. It's a joke. Now, for those of you that just don't understand, being transracial is not a thing. You cannot say that you want to be from one race to another, because being from one gender identity to another is a different story than being one racial identity from another. And so with transraciality, it's just not a real thing, because
I don't think transraciality is a word either, but
but I made it up.
It makes sense. It's all made up.
But like, you can't do that. It's disrespectful to people and their culture that they experience. Like, I can't say that I want to be white tomorrow and wake up and decide that I'm gonna bleach my skin and perm my hair and
hi, how are you?
And take on, like, I can't just decide to take on an aesthetic that is connotated with whiteness in America, because that's disrespectful to people and it's disingenuous to my own experience and racial identity. So, and for her in her situation, like I said, it wasn't just a matter of this is who I want to be, this is how I want to move in my life. She decided to profit off of that and use that as a way to progress her own career. And that's disrespectful, disingenuous, and it's not okay. Point blank, period.
And if you think, oh, I'm a black woman inside, blah, blah, blah.
Respect the culture from a distance.
And then you go, I'm changing my name to an African name. Ma'am, sit your down.
Take several caps, because you deserve them this week for whining like that. You do. And we here at No Cap Recap, we'd like to apologize that we almost went through that whole segment without saying appropriation. because this is definitely appropriating. Rachel Dolezal, appropriation, textbook definition. If you need one, there's your example, comrades. You're welcome.
And now it's time for this week's No Cap Quick Fact, where we take the whitewash facts.
And we put the color back.
All right. What we got? All right. So this week we have Valerie Thomas.
Her invention was the illusion transmitter, which basically helped to develop very important technology like 3D movies and TV, because we all like 3D, satellite communications, and we would not have MRIs without this technology. So like her project with the satellite communications, like images coming back from space back here to the earth, that was like her project. So she was a very beautiful black queen.
Hey, if you see it, she did all that rocking this big ass afro too. So, hey, you got to put some respect on that.
Put some respect on her name.
Mm-hmm.
Birdman, bro. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Valerie, Miss Valerie Thomas. Appreciate you, queen. I'll throw it because you always.
And then, yeah, you can throw it. I'm not even gonna try no more.
If you can just get a good.
Hey. I'm too strong, you know what I'm saying? I want to go put a hole in the wall. And thank you guys again for tuning into On-Site Public Media's No Cap Recap.
Again, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
And if you're lonely, you'll be all right. We're going to make it through this together.
We love you.
We love you. I love you. Come give me a hug if you need to. And remember, as always,
no cap.
No cops.
No problem. We'll see y'all. Oh, okay.
I can't throw it. I can't throw it. No, you got it.
We're going to see y'all next week.